Welcome to the show. Rudy is here.
Fuck St. Louis.
That's all you get. Ian Gomez tonight. Everybody else is busy with their life. Alright, we're going to start with the last weekend. Saturday, Chicago Fire 1-2-0 versus the hated Atlanta United FC. Such a stupid name for a team. Alright. The scoring summary is as follows. 29th minute, Lucho Solignac, assisted by David Akam and Bastian Schweinsteiger. 70th minute, from the spot, Nico. That's it. Disciplinary summary. 39th, Kevin Kratz, unsporting behavior. 50th, Basti, unsporting behavior. 59th, David Akam, unsporting behavior. And of course the 67th, Carlos Carmona, unsporting behavior. Alright, Rudy, what'd you make of this game?
As we were talking right before, David Akam didn't have his best game. As you said, he did what he had to do. But not his best game. He kept the ball too long quite a few times. Obviously doesn't track back per usual, so that's not a surprise. That's not even, I shouldn't even mention that because that's part of the package. So, I just thought he didn't have the best game in the world, so that was a little disappointing after him being on a bit of a hot streak the last few weeks. I thought aerial game was pretty weak. So was our set piece game. We were lucky Atlanta didn't take advantage of it. We might have gotten fucked pretty good.
We're tiny
during the game. Yeah, I know we are, but it hasn't been such an issue, or it hasn't been a glaring issue. It's something that even in the following review that we're going to do, it was very apparent even in Atlanta. So, in St. Louis. So it's starting to catch up to us. And aerial game not good, and set pieces not good at all. Nico being Nico, waiting for the ball, so he just needs a little more service. The lack of Dax McCarty not being there showed. I think we've grown to depend on him. He's a big cog in that midfield.
Yeah, he is.
And it's almost to the point where we can say we're almost too dependent on him. Juninho did an all right job, but it's like if it's not Dax, it's not going to flow as good as it should.
I mean, we still won this game 2-0. We still shut them out. I mean, you're talking like we drew or we lost, brother.
No, I know.
What was good? What did you like?
All right. So I like how Basti dropped back to make sure that back line was solidified. Brandon Vincent pushed up pretty well, I thought. It wasn't as stellar as the last few games, but it was still top notch. Polster made a couple of mistakes, but it wasn't all bad. I'll still take his mistakes over Michael Harrington any damn day of the week. Lamson had a pretty solid game. Distribution a few times was an issue, but nothing too bad. We won, and I shouldn't complain that much. Now it's just nitpicking, and I want this team to be solid without one player or two players that are important. Every player should step up and just do the damn thing and just win, or at least.
Yeah, but no team in the league is like that when they miss their top two players. Everybody changes play. I mean, you see it with Dallas. Even Dallas is one of the deepest teams in the league and has hit a relatively rut, especially when they're starting to rotate some of those younger guys in and aren't performing as well as you'd expect. I'm happy we can win without Dax. I think that's good. We don't look as good. We're not as fluid in the field.
I guess that's my complaint, is the fact that we don't look as good as we can. And we've gotten so used to the last few weeks where we look phenomenal where we just look like we're crushing teams. So it's, yeah, it's it's something I don't want to lose, that look, that feel to the team.
Well, I
So
mean, Dax is a fantastic player. I mean, you can't deny what he did at Red Bull these last couple seasons, and Red Bull's clearly suffering with him not there, and we've clearly benefited. I mean, he is that good. In fact, this may be the year that everybody realizes his true influence on the field of play for New York the past couple of years. I mean, he may be one of the more criminally underrated guys in the past 5 years in the league, just because you don't like to play against him. You just kind of detest him, and you feel like, he's not a guy that athletically is that much of a difference maker. He's kind of a prick on the field. He doesn't really stand out in any real way when you're on the opposition. You're just like, oh, he plays nice soccer. Like, he's a good player. When you watch him week in and week out, you really start to understand what an impact he has on the field in terms of cohesion and the smoothness of everybody around him, because he's always in the right spot. He's consistently in the same spot. His game is so good. It's his consistency week in, week out that is one of his. That's like, to me, the big thing of his game is like, what you're going to get. You're going to get a high level play week in, week out. And yeah, we missed that, especially with Juninho working himself back in, who's also a guy who has a history of being a stellar player week in, week out, but he's missed time this year, some injury, some personal, some suspension. So like, he's still working his way in, and the fact that we were able to win this game 2-0 without Dax, I think is a huge thing. I mean, thank God this game was at home. I mean, I wouldn't have wanted to be on the road this week without Dax at all, but because we saw what we were on the road without Dax against Orlando, and we were a pretty pedestrian side on the road. And it's nice to see Lucho score some goals, because that guy works so hard, and it's nice to see him get moving.
The Lou is the only one that needs to just break that slump that he's in, because he's a hard worker, as we've talked about in the past. He works hard. He falls back. He does everything he needs to do. It's just he's been unlucky right now. It's just bad luck at this point.
Yeah, his inability to put balls on frame is killing him slowly. He is not happy with stuff, but his passing has been terrific. His ability to rotate those three positions between Lucho, David, and himself is that. I mean, we have a natural tactical advantage when those three guys are in together, because they can flip at will, and that's something I don't feel like anybody's really talking about. That those three guys are so effective together, or at least noting it as one of the more important factors, and that's something. In this game, I think was still helpful. I was really only able to watch the condensed highlights, unfortunately. My takeaways were like Basti was, dropping way deep into Dax role. I mean, he's slotted into the Dax role, probably dropped too deep.
He did
sometimes. Like, he's just not familiar with it. Like, it didn't feel natural to me that he's really comfortable with that, and he was doing it during the Orlando game as well. Like, it's just a role that we need somebody on this team to play, because we like to pass the ball to the back, and it really, we've been really successful with it. But he looked a little uncomfortable in there, even though I thought he had a decent game.
Hello.
Sorry. I thought he had a good game, but it's interesting to watch him try to fill Dax's shoes and not be as, just kind of like, Dax is so quick with his hips that he swivels so quickly around the ball that he can change direction so much faster than just about anybody on the team that's not David Accam. That's really like what gets us. Dax can always get out of trouble, it feels like. You never worry about him with the ball. And so that was missing a little bit in this game. But, to be honest, it's just so much fun to watch these guys try to figure this out and, realize during this game that they can win and then just take it to this Atlanta team. And another shutout. I mean, our defense is fantastic, even though everybody's going to say it's not, because, wow, you make mistakes every once in a while. I mean, we're getting shutout results. Atlanta could have scored a couple times in this game, and probably should have. They're not good finishers, and so sometimes you get to make mistakes against teams that aren't good finishers. And better teams will score against us, but, better teams than us, we're talking about, we're really talking about Toronto and a couple other, teams that score a lot of goals, but that's about it. I mean, that's how good our defense is right now. I think we're, sometimes we're used to this. We've lost a lot, and we're used to really criticizing this team. We're really kind of focused on what is going wrong and how to fix it, because that's our mindset, right? And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, we're good. These mistakes we're making, they're glaring because we are good. It's glaring to see a backline screw up that then is mishit. And, the play where Lampson gets basically nutmegged on the shot and the ball goes wide. That guy's just got to finish that. Was that Assad, I think? He's got to finish that. That's a huge defensive breakdown. But that's a glaring mistake because we don't make it so often. You know what I mean? It's Villalba, I'm sorry. Not Assad. He's got to finish that, but he's not really a finisher. And so, yeah, he nutmegs the keeper, but it's never anywhere on frame. So, you're going to get those, you only make so many mistakes in a game. If teams don't capitalize on them, you're going to win. And that's what we did here.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to mention the Lampson thing as well. Again, he's racking up the shutout moments. Having a great defense in front of him is also a big thing. But he's made the saves when he's needed to. So anybody who really talks shit about Lampson and not having Baba or whoever else, or Sean Johnson, come on. This dude's he's gonna maybe match his own record that he had from, what was it, a year or two ago?
Last year. It was last year.
Yeah.
He did this last year. This guy's good.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. He's not spectacular. He doesn't.
No.
He's not a great shot stopper. He's a decent distributor. The thing about Matt Lampson is he's competently average at every aspect of goalkeeping, which means there's not a lot of weaknesses in his game. So there's nothing he's a decent shot stopper. He catches the ball, I think, pretty good. I always hear announcers, when you listen to the opposition feed, they're always like, oh, he's shaky, can't catch the ball. I think that's the biggest strength of his game, actually, is his ability to catch and hold on to a ball. I don't find that he drops a lot. I think I feel like that's what's kept him in MLS, is the fact that he can hang on to the ball pretty well. But he's a decent enough shot stopper. He manages his box pretty well. He's decent enough at distributing. There's really no holes in his game that, ideally he's your backup. Ideally. But right now, I don't know if everybody's noticed, there's a lot of goalkeepers in this league that have massive holes in their game. And to have a guy that's just competently average and he's, pretty much good enough, I mean, you can win with guys like this. It's time and time again, it's been shown. And I'm really happy for Matt. He's an awesome dude. I mean, this guy's...
Yep.
He's fantastic. I want him to be goalkeeper for the next couple of years. I hope he can keep doing this. I mean, if he can consistently give, seriously, he might get us another 500-minute shutout minutes this year with him in goal. That's amazing. That just doesn't happen. And since he did it last year, and now he's done it this year with two different backlines in front of him, he deserves the credit. It's not a fluke. He deserves the credit. He deserves to start. When Bob is healthy, which I don't really know what's up with him. He made the bench, I think, at the Orlando game, and now he didn't make the bench. Maybe it was the Atlanta game.
He didn't make the bench open cup game either.
Yeah, no, I don't know what's going on with him, but, Matt deserves to start. from here on out until he really bottles it, which, judging by his history, he's not going to unless he gets hurt, which, is a concern. But, the guy's performing fantastically, and, you've got to just give it to him at this point. It's just like, he deserves the credit. Like he did last year, he did it this year. What else do you want from this guy other than be spectacular, which he's not. That's not his thing. So, it's a good win. Fantastic win. I mean, another 3 points. We do what we need to do. We put some distance between us and some other teams. We pulled even on games. So if we take a look at the standings here after this game, we're 1 point behind Toronto on even games. I'm fine with that. And we're 4 points ahead of City, who's in third. We're in second place in the Supporter Shield race.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
That's crazy.
So, man. Yeah, I mean, it's just something where you're like, wow, everybody's gets a little nervous about this team, and it's like, we're the second best team in MLS right now after 15 games.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's us expecting that bubble to burst, and it's not. We shouldn't be this jittery, but god damn it. I know you said it's okay because we've been traumatized the last few years.
Yeah, it's totally fine.
But man, I mean, Jesus Christ. It's hard not to nitpick because you see the little things that could burst that bubble in that one. But yeah, once you look back at the standings and reflect on it, you're like, holy shit, we have a pretty good team.
Mm-hmm.
We have a fucking good team.
Absolutely. And now let's talk about the Open Cup.
Let's talk about the Open Cup.
Let's talk about it. Rudy, you were there. How was it?
It was hotter than hell, so that's one thing.
That parking lot looked amazing.
It is the most. So imagine a row and a half of Toyota Park, and that is their parking lot, at least on one stretch of it, and then it expands to about 4 rows at Toyota Park. And that's it. Then they have overflow lots, but man, the I think it's called the preferential parking. It's like $15, but you're right there, right next to the stadium, but you're really close to everybody. There's no getting away from anybody. It was great. Most fans were friendly as hell. A lot of them are Fire fans too, so there's no real animosity. So it's just, they're supporting their home team. So, there's a little shit talking, but nothing too bad. The stadium itself, I think it's 2 years old after they remodeled it after it's gotten flooded like 1 million times. It's nice. It's nice. It is a smaller USL size stadium. It's, I think, 5,000 seater, but it's nice. And the turf looks relatively new, so it doesn't look too beat up and all that stuff. The crowd, their side, pretty good. Like I said, respectful, cheering their team on. Our folks were great, loud. Things happen in the stands.
Some pyrotechnics.
I don't know what you speak of. I just know things happen.
Okay.
And then, and the performance on the field, it was good.
We won.
A lot of yes. That's why.
I don't know how to call it good. We won.
That's the only reason why I say it was good is because we won. I was a little nervous during the whole game. I saw them attack more than I ever should have seen them attack. That aerial game comment I made for Atlanta, it really showed in this game, and especially during the set pieces. We got lucky off the post once I think.
Yeah, that was
couple
never.
times.
That guy was never putting that ball in. That guy was bad.
And then, well, even off the kickoff, um, Kappelhoff turned the ball over, and the dude just overran it. And had it not been for the fact that he overran the field,
Oh
it
yeah,
would have.
yeah. No, he should have scored off that. No, that was a terrible play by them. Like we turned it over, and you got to like take the breaks. I mean, Cap looked tired. I was like, I'm like, this dude looks fucking beat. Like he just like was like, I don't want to fucking play on this garbage turf tonight because that turf sucked. That turf was so slow. You could tell it had rained, and there was so much field turf coming up.
The pebbles, the little the black,
so you
the
could
rubber
see
pellets.
it on TV. You could see the field turf coming up. Like
But
it was so slow. Like these guys were hitting passes and they were dying on the ground, and that's where a lot of the turnovers came from. Which is not an excuse because you got to adjust. But like I'm just saying, like we were really struggling with that, especially in the first half.
well, relatively speaking, that turf was still better than anything like New England and a couple other places where New England they're basically playing on. I've heard the comment of they're basically playing on concrete.
Yeah,
like
but it's
turf
fast
is so beat up
though.
and so bad. It's fast, but it wears you out even more.
I understand. This just
one,
impacted our passing. I'm this sort of point. It was a slow turf, which you really don't associate with
play
turf.
to our strengths, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, and let's remember, David Accam did not play in this game because of his red card accumulation. Probably doubtful he would have played anyway, but if they wanted to use him, there was no chance because of that boneheaded red card, or I wouldn't call it boneheaded, more like CONCACAF styled red card back in New England, where he tried to kill that dude. So, in retrospect, it wasn't such a bad.
It was fine. It was fine. Yeah, no David, no Nico, no Basti. I mean, it was really kind of like, hey, we're gonna play the kids, and it's up to Johan and Brandon to fucking hold this shit down in the back. And
Juninho and Dax, so it wasn't all kids.
Dax got minutes. No, Dax got minutes, and Juninho played the whole game. But it's Arturo, Daniel Johnson, Deloy and Solniak, so kind of like a mix of regular guys. But there was five roster changes here.
Yeah.
That's a lot, and that's what you expect in this kind of game. And we grinded it out, and we won it. We did not look good while doing it, but whatever. Juninho put a ball off the post as well.
Yep.
We had our chances. Solniak scored a hell of a goal. I mean, that finish was
beautiful,
incredible. Deloya did what he had to do in this kind of game. Worked hard enough, but saved his energy, which I thought was fine.
I was a little disappointed in Daniel Johnson. I thought he was a little bit. He was invisible for most of the game when he was on, and the few runs he did have, he would lose the ball or he would make the wrong pass, and it's going to come with experience. But I thought he would take advantage of this start and prey on this on a lower level competition. No offense to the St. Louis dudes, but I mean, you have to step up your game. You have to show why you should be starting. You were on a hot streak. You were you were the first person off the bench. You showed that you have the game or the skills to play the game at this level. Now you have to take advantage of that opportunity, especially after coming off that injury. I should say on the flip side, Georgi Mihalovic, when he came on to replace him, he looked great. He took advantage of his 20 minutes that he played. He looked phenomenal.
One of them looked like they had been healthy for the last 3 weeks, and the other one looked like they were coming off injury. So,
but Georgie, let's remember, he looked pretty bad against. I wouldn't say even bad. He
looked like
didn't
a kid.
seem to fit in. Yeah, against Orlando, and I think did he sub in against Atlanta? I can't remember, but the last time I saw him prior to Orlando, he just looked a little off, So it was nice to see him play this game and really be productive, make the right passes, make the right runs. I know Arturo needs minutes, but God, I just wanted to punch a kitten or something every time he'd make his goddamn run and just shank the ball or do whatever he would do.
Classic
I don't
Arturo
like
performance.
I don't like that guy. I
I
do
know
not
you
like
don't,
that.
dude. I know you don't. It's fine. It was classic Arturo. The one thing with him is you're going to get a strong defensive effort, which is what you needed
Yeah.
tonight. He had opportunities to score, and he somehow managed to barely put the ball in frame, per usual, against the lower division side. He weaved through 3 guys and then, just whiffed his shot, which was just like, wow, that was a lot of work to really screw that up, dude. Um, you know,
When that happened, I turned my back to the field, and I don't even remember who was standing next to me. I'm like, he's gonna shank the ball. Like, he's got a good run going. I'm like, he's gonna
he's
shank it,
gonna shank it. Yeah.
and he shanked it. And they're like, how'd you know? I'm like, it's Arturo Alvarez. How else would I know?
Dejkovic did not cover himself in glory in his 4
No.
minutes. He did not look good. But that's okay. That's okay.
No, he was down in Tulsa for a hot second. He needs to go back there. He needs the seasoning. I think he'll be all right. He just needs to go down there and like Calistri, like Fernandez, who did
work.
play against. Yeah, they need the time. They need the development. So I don't mean him going down there in a bad way. He just needs to go down there.
No, he needs minutes. Yeah. It was pretty clear. So, anyways, we've advanced to the round of 16, and we've drawn Cincinnati.
In Cincinnati on June 28th.
Yep, June 28th at the big building in Cincy, where they drew like 30,000 for their upset of the old C bus, which is delightful. Now let's go wreck them. That'll be my
And
preference.
by the way, on a quick side note, the old C bus is wrecking themselves. Their fans want to fight the coach, and then they're fighting each other. Oh boy!
Oh, that's incredible! Is that what happened? I didn't read any of that.
Oh yes! Like cops had to separate Berhalter because they were yapping and booing him. So then he flapped his gums at them, and then they're like, "Oh no, we're not taking that."
You just lost to Cincinnati, bro. You do not get to flap your gums at your fans when they're booing you after you lose to Cincinnati. I'm sorry. You just suck that up. Suck that up and eat that pride.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's awesome. I hope they self-destruct. That's incredible. If we beat Cincinnati, we move on to play the winner on the road.
Of Miami,
we'll play
Atlanta.
Either at Atlanta or at Miami, and that is going to be Miami. Atlanta has to go on the road to Miami, and Miami just won at home, and they beat Orlando like 3-1, soundly roasting them. So bad road teams don't want to go to Miami because it's going to be a nightmare for them, and I don't think this Atlanta team is really going to prioritize this competition, to be frank with you. They basically escaped from the battery. The battery should have won. It's annoying. If you're me, I hate this Atlanta team so much.
We couldn't tell.
Yeah, no, I'm just gonna keep reminding everybody. So there's your Open Cup. Your other teams advancing to the round of 16. You have the Revolution versus DC United, which should be fun. Red Bull versus the Union, also fun. That's your Eastern bracket. We went over the Southern bracket, which is what we're in. The Western bracket, San Jose versus Seattle, and the Galaxy versus Sacramento Republic. Your Central bracket, Houston.
Quick note.
Yes.
Sacramento throttled Real Salt Lake.
Yes, they did. RSL's bad, everybody.
4-1.
I don't know if you're aware of this. They're bad.
Extremely bad.
Houston plays Sporting KC. Please keep in mind, Houston is at home for this, and if they win that game, they're at the next home game. I fully expect Houston to be in the semifinals. They're going to just destroy everybody down there in the middle of the summer. And FC Dallas also survived, and they get to play the Colorado Rapids in Dallas. So there's your Open Cup. Some interesting storylines. We are in a relatively weak bracket to get to the semifinals, which is nice to see. It's good times. I don't want to go to Houston, so I'm glad we somehow did not get lumped in with them. Because fuck that. Fuck going to Houston in the summer.
I wanted Cincinnati or Miami, most basically for the novelty of going to these cities that may or may never happen. So
Yeah, true.
but and I mean, it won't be an easy trip, especially in Cincinnati, because that's 30,000 people. It's a big game atmosphere, so it's gonna be fucking nuts for anybody who goes down there.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. If you can go. If you can't find a place to watch it because it's gonna be a big game. It's gonna be an important game because I want to.
It'll
win
be
this.
a 6:30. It'll be a 6:30 Central kickoff. I will be attending.
Yeah, I know you're going. We all want this. We all want this Open Cup. This is the sort of the important. To me, it's the emotional one. It's the important one that signals we can win other things. Well, I want this. And the Open Cup final is September 20th this year. So keep that in mind. The schedule's a little bit. Schedule is better than it has been in years past. So kudos to U.S. Soccer for doing that. Really appreciate that change in the format. They're doing a much better job of marketing this fantastic competition. So it's going to be good stuff. All right. Let's see. Let's get right on to the old next game. We're at
the New England Revolution.
The Revolution, Saturday nights. The Revolution, of course, have advanced in the Open Cup. And they will beat Rochester 3-0. And previous to that, they did not play this past weekend. So they've had some time off, but we've had some fixture congestion. Last game they played, they throttled Toronto 3-0. So they're on a bit of a hot streak. The Toronto game, which was June 3rd, it's been a while now. That was their last MLS game. Their goal scorers were Benjamin Angua, Diego Fagundes, and Juan Agudelo. Juan Agudelo had a heck of a game, and it seems like they're starting to figure some stuff out. Juan came in off the bench for Kai Kamara, and in 29 minutes he had an assist and a goal. So they should just start him over Kamara. I don't know what the hell they're doing, but it worked. So, they're on a hot streak. They're going to be very confident. This is a very odd team. The times I've watched them this year, they're just kind of all over the place. So they moved Angua starting inside, starting central defender, and Tierney's left back, Andrew Farrell's at right back, and Leonard Delamea is the other center back. So it's a little bit different backline look from them in this current run. But, it's Wynn, Rowe, Fagundes, Kamara, and, it's the same offensive guys they've had for the last couple of years. Nothing new there with Caldwell and Kofi kind of as the holding mids. So they're rocking out in a 4-2-3-1. They're very similar. They're very similar in shape to us. Or we play much more. We probably play similar styles. I didn't have a chance to watch them, but the fact that they were just able to slice through Toronto in this game was in New England, but still, Toronto's a good team, and it's not like it's not like they trotted out some sort of B team. I mean, the old bones of Benoit Cheroux did get the start, so it's not a good look, but they shut them out, and they've won the last two games 3-0. This is going to be a difficult game. But on the bright side, we've got a full complement of guys. So Dax is back. It'll be interesting to see if we make any changes, or if Juninho goes back to the bench and Dax slots in. That's the only thing I can see. Basti got his rest. The key guys got their rest midweek, so they have to play in the Open Cup. Juninho will almost certainly not start this game since he started midweek. So yeah,
I don't know if Schweini would start this game on that awful turf. I mean, yeah, he might play, or you would play him, but I don't know, man. Why play him on the shittier turf? Give him one more game to rest, and then.
Well, there's not. You gotta remember, we don't have a lot of. The fixture congestion is mostly over before the Gold Cup break. So, so if we take a look at the upcoming schedule here, we're not in bad shape, right?
No, I don't think so.
No, not at all. So, let's see. Let me just bring up the. So we've got New England, and then a week later we have Orlando at home. And then midweek is Cincinnati, and then June 27th is Cincinnati. July 1st we play Vancouver, and then July 5th we play Portland in Portland, and then we have basically 2 weeks off till July 22nd. Mm-hmm. So most of the congestion, most of it, at least for this, there's a full week break before the next game. So I think you're probably going to run Basti out, and he's probably not going to play against Cincinnati. Because he's almost certainly going to have him play against Orlando. Probably sit him for Cincinnati, and then you'll see, come the July 1st, July 5th games, everybody should be able to go July 5th because you have that 2 weeks off. It's just going to be how's the bounce back from the Open Cup game on the 27th. So it's not that bad. It really isn't. So I'd expect the normal lineup to roll out, the one that's been winning all the games. So
yeah.
Have you had a chance to watch a lot of New England, Rudy? I've been behind on them.
Not really. I do know that they're playing a lot. They're playing their best team as opposed to just trying to find slots for the bodies, basically, instead of actually playing a system that would work to be able to feed Kamara up top and have Agudelo on the field as well, and just Fagundes and everybody. They're just trying to figure out how to have their best 11 instead of having a lineup that just works. It'll be interesting to see how they line up against us. I really do hope that they bench Agudelo again and just put out people, and we can take advantage of the lack of service Kamara gets and just push the ball up and try to attack ourselves and just fucking score and get 2 or 3 in front of them, or 2 or 3 ahead of them, and then defend, I guess, the rest of the game.
Yeah, I mean, starting Kamara makes sense against us because we're small and he's really good on set pieces. So I'd expect him to get the starting role, and that they'll bring Agudelo off the bench. I would be starting Agudelo, and I just would have jettisoned Kamara at this point. I'd eaten some of his salary just to clear up this logjam and just to free up things for Agudelo, because Agudelo's the guy who's going to be around. I don't know. I don't long term. I don't understand what they're doing, but right now, short term, they're making it work with Agudelo as a sub, and that's going to be difficult. He's an impact. If he can come in for 30 minutes and be impactful, that's going to be a problem for us, because when he's going, he's a handful. So, what do you think, prediction-wise? Where are you at?
Prediction, I think 1-1 draw.
1-1 draw?
Yeah. Goal goes to David Akam. He'll blow through people and do the thing. will score. It'll be assisted by Nico. I think Nico will give him the assist.
Yeah, I think this. You know what this. I don't know. This kind of smells to me like this just could be could be a loss on the road, and our road form is it's okay. We're 1-3-3 on the road,
Mm-hmm.
which is not terrible. It's not great. You'd like to see a win here just to even things out a little bit and give you a little bit of cushion to lose a couple games on the road. So I'm worried about this game. Especially because I don't think Kappelhoff is going to get any rest, and he's looking like a guy who could use a week off.
He needs 1 or 2 games off, I think. Big time.
Yeah, no, I think he needs a rest. He's gotten no break. Zhao's gotten a break. Campbell obviously is fresh, but you can't really start. I mean, you can start Zhao and Campbell, but it's just something you're not really gonna do regularly. So, yeah, I think I'm gonna go. I think New England's gonna take this 2-1. We'll probably see a goal from Kamara and from Agudelo off of set pieces because that seems to be on its way. So, all right. Got anything else, Rudy? Or wait, anything else you want to talk about this game?
No, not this game. There is a little. Well, not if you have anything else to add about this game, because there is a rumor that started bubbling up all of a sudden.
Oh,
and I don't know.
Please tell me the rumors.
Only one I've heard is Jakub Błaszczykowski, better known as Kuba, who played for Borussia Dortmund, Fiorentina. I think he was with Wolfsburg this past season, or part of it, and it just bubbled up that there is interest. From who? Didn't really say. It just said the Fire are interested. So, yeah.
It did say the Fire were interested?
Well, it said somebody was interested, and the Fire would be the one that is the most interested in.
I don't know much about this guy, other than he played for Dortmund and was a decent player for them. How old is he?
I think 30. Let me double check. Hold on. I want to say he's like 32, 33.
Can he score goals?
Yeah, he's a pretty good midfielder.
Is he a regular goal scorer though? We need another goal scorer. That's what I'm saying.
Now I know what you're saying. He can score, but he's a lot more like a Dax. So it's like.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. And here's what kills me about this is, had you told me this a year ago, maybe 2, I would have been like, fucking bring him here. Like, he needs to be here now. But
I mean, he did have almost 200 appearances with Dortmund, so I can see why you'd want him.
He's 31.
I mean,
he just came back.
Oh man, I don't know. I mean, I'm not interested. I mean, I know there's, he's been a guy that fans have wanted to come here for a while. The obvious, a good Polish player coming here is meaningful. I'm not going to deny that.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I want a goal scorer.
41, 43 club goals.
Since
27 of them. Yeah. When he started, what I cannot pronounce that fucking team's name. So.
Czestochowa.
Sure. And then he went to Wisła Krakow. Yeah, then he went to Wisła Krakow. 51 games, 3 goals. Then he went to Dortmund. Had 197 appearances, 27 goals. He went on loan to Fiorentina. played 15, scored 2. His latest venture, which was he got sold to Wolfsburg, 28 appearances, no goals. But he was starting most of them, if I remember correctly. And with the Polish national team, 90 caps, 17 goals.
He's not a regular goal scorer.
No.
I mean, he does. I mean, I will say this: he fits the DNA that this team now has, which is smart, professional players who are able to pass and do and just can slot in with a team and are professionals. You know, I really don't. I wouldn't say this is a guy we need at all. So,
as somebody who loves a man, I wouldn't want him. Not right now. Not right now.
Our real need lies at finding somebody else to help score some goals. Help, more create. If you think this guy can create more goals, like, as you know, his passing is good enough to create goals for Nico and Lucho, okay, fine. Fine. Bring him on. That's fine. If that's your belief and you think he can do that, I'm fine. I'm okay with that. But it means Lucho has to start finishing. It means you need goals to start coming from Michael Deloya. It means that you're going to need contribution at some point from David Arshakian. Because our striker, that's what I'm saying, though. Our striker depth is terrible, unless the idea is to call up Kalistri after the Gold Cup break is over and give him that backup striker role. And we've not, that may be in the plans. Because that's a position we don't have filled.
So far, that loan spell has been great for him. So it's like it's proven fruitful. But I would want them to go after a striker. In league would be best. Somebody who's proven in league. Because how much money are we willing to spend? And how much do we want to tie up the cap for next year as well? That's something we have to take into consideration. I would want to have somebody here who's proven, who we knows the league, can score, and is a mid salary cap hit, where we can keep them next year, or at least negotiate them down, or at the same price. So that at least that's where I think we should go.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And Kalistri's had, 4 goals in, 11 games? Yeah, he's played 850 minutes. He's got 4 goals. He's got 9 starts. He's playing well. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
He got to play last night against FC Dallas. So, I mean...
So, yeah, he's also cup tied, and so that's going to be a bit of a consideration. So, maybe they might keep him down there the rest of the season. Whatever. I'm totally fine with that. He needs the seasoning, and bring him back for camp next year. But the backup striker position is an issue. And I'm really happy to see Lucho get going, but he's not a striker. He's a much better winger than he is a striker. So, unless you're making a trade for a backup striker and you're going to bring in Kuba, okay, fine. I know, that's fine. Don't have an issue with it. But you've got to fill the backup striker role. If we're indeed truly going to push for, if we remain within striking distance of the Shield, you got to go for it.
Mm-hmm.
And you're gonna need another striker to do it. And now you're gonna have to make the decision very soon. Right at the Gold Cup break, you're gonna have to figure out what you're doing. You got those two weeks to figure out your next moves. And if you can't figure them out in that window, you're probably not gonna be able to make any. You're not gonna be able to just get somebody late in the trade window. It rarely happens.
And you got 3 players. You got 3 players you can tinker with. especially two that make an impact on the cap. That would the one that doesn't make the hit on the cap, the old Armenian Ibra, but he would free up an international slot. So either cutting him or finding a sucker who's willing to take him, do that. Arturo Alvarez, who apparently wants out because he's not getting first team minutes as much as he'd like. Well, you free up salary cap, even though he's not a international spot. Be gone. And then also Michael Harrington. If you can find a suitor, take him. He's 200 and some. He's a $200,000+ hit on the cap. Launch him. I mean, find somebody who's willing to take him.
Somebody's gonna have to be damn desperate.
Yeah, well, fuck yeah. Please, somebody be desperate. We just that would make these things able to happen. And yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Calistri actually stay down at Tulsa just so he can keep getting those minutes. Because why call him up if he's not gonna really see the field? Let him get that taste of being the starter, getting goals. And next year at camp, just let him run wild and see if he could translate it into MLS.
I'd agree. I'd agree with most of that. It's gonna be very hard to move Harrington. You can probably move Arturo if he truly, is unhappy or whatever, because he's kind of surplus to plans. He's a guy that you'd like. I mean, honestly, he's a guy that, is he interested in winning and trying to win something, or does he want minutes? Because he can get minutes on a bad team. I mean, we could send him to Minnesota; they could use him. I mean, we can dump his salary on somebody and he'll get minutes, but it's not like he's going to be on a good team. So we'll see where this all ends up. I don't always buy into some of those, that stuff where players want to leave. I think a lot of that's just agent talk, fan talk, and the guy might be legit unhappy, but it doesn't necessarily mean he wants to change his team either, because he likes winning. So. But interesting things will be afoot come the start of July, nonetheless. All right, we're nearing the end of this. I did make it to Azteca.
I was about to say, spill the beans. How was Azteca?
It was awesome. So we met up with some friends. Mexican national team fans, and so they're the people we got tickets through, and so we ended up in like a box, basically. We had like a box tickets, and like an outside box, not like a luxury box, but just a box. We had like 4 rows to ourselves, or 4 seats to ourselves, and we're right on the midfield stripe. It's basically like where I sit, where the Fuego box is located, just above the press box, and raise that up a bit, and it's the same vantage point.
Stories.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's up a little bit higher, but by the way, as the remodeled Azteca is basically one of the best stadiums I've ever been in. It's the equal of the Santiago Bernabeu to me. Like the Bernabeu was like going to church. For soccer fans, this was very similar in terms of like the building just kind of goes up, and like every seat is good. The atmosphere that it creates is amazing. I like a couple more of the stylistic changes that they made to the stadium. I really like the weird little. It almost looks like a spot for like a dugout along the one side of the field where it's just kind of empty, and there's just kind of some like green art work up over there. Like, I don't know what you call it. There's kind of just like a green wall spot. Mm-hmm. I really like how that looks. And it's just an amazing place. The atmosphere was incredible. The game was fantastic. The quality of play on both sides was really good. I kind of feel like if Mexico's at full strength, they would have won this game 2-0. But Bruce Arena's changes really, really worked for the most part, except for Areola, who was not particularly good. I don't really care much for this U.S. national team at all. I was happy to see the lineup that he put out, but I don't always care if they win. To be honest with everybody, I'm more of a club over country kind of guy. So, but it was an amazing game. If you ever get the chance to go, you should go. It's worth it. It's worth every penny that you spend to go. The Bradley, I was stunned when the Bradley goal went in. And then the Vela goal was just, really well taken finish off of what should have been a much better play. It looked like the U.S.
Meg Chicharito had?
Yes.
Oh, man.
Yes.
That was something.
It was fun to watch Chicharito in person again. He's something else. That guy's so good. It was great. I mean, I really after the game I was just overcome with this was amazing. I was just so happy, and we kind of were in the parking lot underneath the stadium after the game. We kind of waited in our seats so we were in this box seat, and our drinks and snacks were included in the ticket price, and so we just hung out in these seats for 40 minutes after the game was over, just kind of let people out, and it started raining. It was kind of gross, and then we just basically kind of made our way down and ran out and then we went underneath the stadium and then we had to walk away to get to the van. Whatever. We had some transport issues at the end, but
Some what?
We had some transport issues at the end, but
okay.
Nothing severe. We just ended up walking quite a ways to get to our van. But otherwise, it was great. Mexico City is fantastic. It's a wonderful place. I always have a good time. It's the second time I've been there this year, and it was another great time. So, highest recommendation I have for a soccer game, if you need to go see it. There were a lot of Americans there, Mexican national team fans.
Mm-hmm.
I wore my Cuauhtémoc Blanco Chicago Fire jersey, because that's the kind of idiot I am. And I got heckled by a man who sounded like he was from Jersey. So he was like, "Chi-Town sucks." I was like, "What?
I didn't come here for this.
I don't need this." And we ran into a dude from Chicago who was sitting near us, who's there rooting for Mexico, and it was just kind of a really chill. Where we were was a really chill atmosphere and really kind of a great time. So I didn't see any issues post game for anybody. And yeah. We ran into some obnoxious American fans at the pyramids, wearing their Orlando City FC gear and their scarves to the fucking pyramids. I thought that was a little bit in poor taste.
What a ludicrous.
Yeah, it was a little much, and then there was some Empire City guys out there too. I was just like, oh Jesus. They had their U.S. shirts on this was the day before the game. I was like, oh, God, they were obnoxious. But, whatever. The pyramids are big. You can get away from people pretty easily. So, anyways, there's your breakdown of the Azteca. Go, like you had any doubt. You should go. It's amazing. I can't wait to go for a Club America game at some point, because I'm sure that's fantastic as well, with a whole different kind of vibe.
Man, oh man. Yep, that's bucket list place for me.
Yeah, you gotta go, brother. You gotta go. I recommend Mexico in general for soccer. The the soccer games done. All the games I've gone to in Mexico City have been incredible. And I want to branch out. I want to get to Monterrey and check out the teams in Monterrey, and get to Guadalajara so I can see the teams in Guadalajara. Like, it's a fun experience. The stadiums they're fantastic. They're exactly what you expect, unless they're old, and then they're charming because they're super old. So it's fine. It's all good down there.
Well, you should get to Estadio Azul if you can.
I did get to Estadio Azul. It's
old.
Oh,
that's right, you did.
It's like Toyota. It's like an old Toyota Park. So old.
A lot bigger Toyota Park.
It's bigger, but the sight lines are very similar. And it's in this neighborhood. I really liked it. Estadio Azul is worth going to. I mean, you do have to watch Cruz Azul at that point. So, try to catch them on a good year instead of a bad one.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Good luck. Yeah, all the stadiums in Mexico City, the three big clubs, were all very impressive to me. All worth going to. Okay, well, I think that's it. Nick actually had a prediction for the game. 1-0 to the Revs. Nick and I are on the same page. Always an issue.
I just think they're gonna tie.
I want you to be right, dude. I want you to be right.
Yeah, no, I could see them losing too. I could even see some of the people I could see almost the same squad that they had at Open Cup for this one, except Kappelhoff, and give him the rest, and probably Zhao, because Zhao might break on this turf.
Dude, I think it's just going to be the regular lineup. I don't see, there's a week off. You got to be able to play on the turf. You got to be able to go to New England and play on the turf. I mean, if they think it's that bad and they're just, they sacrifice guys, I mean, fine. But that's also kind of problematic. You can't let that dictate you can't let the turf dictate your lineup. As far as I'm concerned, you're an MLS team. You got to go play to New England. You got to go places on turf, and there's some garbage turf. Montreal's got a garbage turf. I mean, it's just you can't let it dictate what you do, unless a guy's that banged up, and it doesn't seem like we have any guys that hurt. It just seems like Kappelhoff is tired. Could use a week of freshening. And anyways, we're done. We'll be back next week, regularly scheduled show. Fingers crossed. Rudy.
Goodbye.
I'm Greg. Talk to you next week. Goodbye.
Fuck Ohio in advance.
Yo, the jam was fly. Oh my, now it's over. My batch of pals cut so Tajay must punch a taxi cab. Dag them. Why they leave me stuck in the late night alley? Callous, not so hot that everyone should be sweating, yet nobody's smiling. Blessed cruiser pilot staring, thinking what they look like wearing my gear. A sign when the yellow cab near. He sped up because dreads made him think I'd pick him. Now I gotta dodge thugs like I'm playing chicken. An Englishman, an Irishman, 5 or 10 Caucasians pass me in their taxis. Oh, no such luck, I'm gonna get booked for my apparel. As I seen the black gauge barrel, just then the fat cab came to my rescue. Damn, I'm glad black men drive them cabs too.
In spite of the directions that are given, they are driven to whose back streets. That treats them to a pricely fare. Exactly what happened to myself when I chose to call a taxi. And pulled up to the curb and I hopped into the backseat. Gave him the destination, said he'd never heard of the place. And I'd have to tell him as we went along and then placed it in drive. When I say make a left, he made a right. Alright, I get it. You wanna make some slight detour so you can be sure that you get yours. And when I turn my head, you up the bill a little more. I told the cabbie to stop. He didn't think I watched it. They reached into my pocket and they jetted like I was rocking. Ishmael, his taillight was broken as a token of appreciation. He started chasing, but I smoked.
What? You can't escape me. My head dropped dead deceased. Say your final summons if I catch you. Bet you regret never ditch me. Driving, conniving. Guy's been robbing me lately. He went up Lake Street, but I'm following, swallowing up steps. He ran to the left, I made a left and crashed into a rose bush. My nose crushed on impact. But yo, I'll get him back. I didn't have enough for a car, what a bummer. I had to get a job driving taxis last summer. All the other drivers knew that my car was spectacular, cause I had a tight, very bright yellow Acura. Piling in 9 or 10 skins at a time, G. Funny how the honeys with the money always find me, paying their green to see what color my house is. Feeling like Dell cause they would sleep on my couches. I charge senior citizens extra cause they never mention. I take all the money from their pension and I drive a blind man around for a while. Even if he only had to travel just a mile.